My name is Mike, and this happened last year when my fiancée and I bought our first home together. We're an Asian couple, and that fact is important to this story. It was a small two-story house in a quiet suburban town in Georgia. Nothing fancy, just a decent backyard, a cheap fence, and rows of similar houses. But to us, it was special. We felt lucky to even afford a home at our age. The first few days were normal. We unpacked, met a few neighbors, and tried to settle in. The older couple on our right was friendly. The neighbor across the street waved and welcomed us. But the house on our left felt off. We never saw anyone come outside. The curtains were always closed. The house looked clean and well kept, but it was always dark inside, even though a car was parked in the driveway. One afternoon, while carrying groceries inside, my fiancée whispered to me to look at the neighbor's window. I glanced over and saw a man standing behind the curtain, half visible, watching us. When he noticed us looking back, he immediately stepped away. It was strange, but we brushed it off. Over the next week, we noticed him more. Always inside, always watching. He'd disappear the moment we made eye contact. Then one night around midnight, I walked past our upstairs bedroom window and glanced outside. Our window faced his. He was standing fully visible in his upstairs window, staring directly into our bedroom. I froze. The second he realized I saw him, he stepped back out of view. I joked to my fiancée, "Great. Our neighbor's a creep." The next morning, he knocked on our door. He introduced himself as Gordon and apologized, saying he had been adjusting something on his window and didn't mean to look into our room. He smiled the entire time. Something felt off, but I accepted the apology. A week later, my fiancée woke me up in the middle of the night, saying she heard someone in the yard. I looked outside and saw a man walking around our backyard. I yelled out. The man quickly exited through the gate and slammed it shut. A few nights later, it happened again. This time, we both heard it, someone messing with the gate. When I looked outside, I clearly saw Gordon. I yelled his name. He didn't respond. I confronted him at his house. He laughed and claimed he was chasing away kids who jumped fences in the neighborhood. He smiled the entire time, but there was something dark behind it. The next day, he invited us over for dinner. Big mistake. He was drunk, made racist comments, and openly admitted he'd been in our yard. He ended the night by yelling that people like us didn't belong there. A week later, a brick was thrown through our living room window. We called the police. Gordon denied everything. 2 months after moving in, we packed up and left. If we had stayed, I truly believe we would have ended up on the news. My name is Noah, and this happened in late 2021, when my fiancée Gabby, now my wife, and I moved into a quiet suburban neighborhood. Our neighbors to the right, Daniel and Veronica, seemed incredibly friendly. They even baked us a red velvet cake as a welcome gift. But a few weeks later, we started hearing loud arguments coming from their house late at night. One night, Veronica stormed out and drove away. After that, she never came back. Weeks passed. Her car was gone. Daniel avoided us and acted nervous whenever we crossed paths. Why is it? Why is it? I can't do it. Eventually, I knocked on his door. He took several minutes to answer and was sweating heavily. When I asked about Veronica, he claimed she went to care for her sick mother. Then I heard a woman scream from inside the house. Daniel panicked and claimed it was a movie playing upstairs, even though he had just said he was working out up there. That night, I called the police and requested a welfare check. Minutes later, multiple police cars and an ambulance arrived. Daniel was arrested. Veronica was carried out on a stretcher. We later learned he had kept her locked in the basement for weeks, brutally abusing her. She died that night. As Daniel was taken away, he looked at me and said, "I know it was you. You'll regret this." A few nights later, I dreamed he broke into my house with a knife. I still remember every word he said. My name is Devon, and this happened 2 years ago when I lived alone in a duplex in Queens, New York. I never met the man living on the other side of the wall. At night, I started hearing him talking in a strange, high-pitched voice, like he was speaking to himself. Then the knocking began. 2 taps, always right next to my head. One night, after several knocks, I heard him say through the wall, "What are you doing in there?" I froze. Days later, I woke up to knocking again. I screamed for him to stop, and then a voice spoke inside my room, right behind me, "Go to sleep." I ran out of the house barefoot, screaming for help. Police found no one inside, no forced entry. The neighbor never answered his door again. I moved out immediately. To this day, I don't know if someone was really there or how close I came to something far worse.